Hello, everybody. I'm Derek L. Mitchell, and welcome to episode 10 of the Fearless Factory. Thank you for joining me. And today, I'm talking about the fear of the launch. And why am I talking about that? The reason is that the common thread amongst all of our goals and dreams and ambitions is to get started. That's the way to accomplish anything that we want to achieve in life, is to launch, to take action, and to get started. But sometimes that's the toughest part. We all have a fear of not being good enough, of failing, of not being properly equipped, or finding out that a dream or a goal that we had is just simply not a good idea. So instead of taking action and finding out, we just do nothing. But today, I want to encourage you and equip you to get started and to launch whatever you want to achieve. And so, being the nerd that I am, I want to use a shuttle launch as an example. So I want to talk about two aspects of launching to encourage and to inspire you to get started. First is the importance of the launch, and second is how to create a successful launch. Walt Disney said that the key to get started is to stop talking and to start doing. And that's exactly what I want you to do after this video, is to feel inspired and energized and ready to start doing and stop talking about what you want to achieve and accomplish in your life, and to go out and start making it happen. Now, when NASA launches a shuttle mission into space, there are two main facilities that oversee and monitor the entire mission. The first is Launch Control in Florida, and the second is Mission Control in Texas. So why is that important? I think it's two good lessons to be learned from how NASA operates a mission. First is that the launch is so important that it needs its own facility. The launch is actually the most important part of a mission, because if there is no launch, then there is no mission. If there is no launch, then you can't have your dream. You can't achieve your goals if you don't get started and take action and launch whatever it is that you set out to do in your life. Then there's nothing that will ever happen. You will achieve nothing if there is not a launch. Two is that the launch is a very different operation than the rest of the mission. Now, what that tells me is that do not put so much of the structure before the struggle. What does that mean? You have to always have a plan in place when you are pursuing something, but you don't necessarily have to have it all figured out. The most important assets that you could have when you are launching and starting to pursue something is a relentless effort, energy, and resilience that keeps you punching and chipping away at it every single day, regardless of the opposition and the setbacks and the obstacles that you encounter. You might not have everything all figured out at the beginning, but that's okay, because how you operate a launch versus how you operate once you are established on a path to finish a dream or a goal is very different. Two separate operations. So don't let not having all the answers at the beginning keep you from beginning and starting. Now, I know this is a hot button issue and very sensitive right now, but I'm still going to use this example. So what we're seeing now is that with this election, that candidate Trump and President-elect Trump are a little different. How he has behaved over the past 18 months all of a sudden is a little bit different than how he is behaving in the past two days since being elected. It's no more tweets at 3 a.m. It's no more painting minority groups with a broad brush of stereotypes. It's a little bit different, because I believe that he understands that who he has to be now to continue and finish his political career is much different than who he had to be to launch his career. And that applies to all of us as well. Who you will be to finish your dream is much different than who you are to get started and to launch. And that's okay. Who you are right now and what you have is exactly what you need to get started and work on your dream. Now, in order to have a successful launch, it's a couple of things that you have to keep in mind. First, that you have to have a destination. That's the biggest part of having a launch, is to have somewhere to launch to. Now, the reason why the destination is so important is that it will dictate a lot of the details of the launch itself. So, a launch to the International Space Station, the moon, or Mars are three entirely different types of operations and require different levels of preparation. So you have to understand what your goal is in order to understand what it'll take to launch and to launch the effort to get there. So if you want to be the CEO of a company versus just a mid-level manager of that same company, those are two entirely different levels of effort and preparation. So you have to know what you want in order to understand how to launch the effort to get there. Now there also could be an issue of timing as well. So if NASA wants to launch a shuttle to the International Space Station, there is a launch window as a result of the space station lining up just right with where you're launching from. That creates an urgency because there is a set time limit to the opportunity that is in front of you, and you have to be urgent about when and how you launch in order to meet that opportunity right on time. Now, if you don't know what you want, then you will just launch at any time. If you don't know what you're aiming for, then you'll wake up whenever you want to. You will get started whenever you want to. We'll put a plan together whenever you want to. We'll do the research that is needed to reach that goal whenever you want to. If you don't know what you want, then there is no urgency to get it done because there is no set destination. So in order to launch, you first have to have a specific destination in order to get to the next step, which is calculating and creating a successful launch. Second, you have to figure out what's your escape velocity. There are certain things, forces and obstacles that are holding us all in place to a certain extent. Some are keeping us from even getting started to chase our dreams, and some hold us in place at a certain spot on our journey to reach our goals. Those things could be our attitude, beliefs, our mindset, education, resources, upbringing, lack of skills, etc. But there are things that hold us in place. And in order to have a successful launch to our goals and our dreams, we have to understand what those things are in order to overcome or mitigate them. For example, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. So when it was time to start to look at colleges, I knew that I needed a high level of education and training to accomplish that goal. So I enrolled at Georgia Tech as an aerospace major. Now, as you can see, that didn't work out. But the one thing that I did get right at that point in time is to understand that I had to identify what was standing in between me and my goals, and what would bridge the gap between where I was at that point in time and where I wanted to be. And the first step in that was to get a college education. So the first step to launching towards your goals is to understand what the first and fundamental steps are to build a foundation, a path to finish your goals and to manifest your dreams. And once you figure out what that escape velocity is, then you will understand the amount of energy and effort that is required to launch and to get started. Now, to be honest with you, that's where I made my first mistake. The goals that I'm working on right now is to write a book and to build a career as a speaker. Now I know exactly what I want. I have the vision and it's clear. I see it every day. I understand the importance of launching because that's why I took a risk and did it in the way that I'm doing it right now. But where I messed up is that I did not clearly understand the amount of effort and energy that it would take just to get started. So as a result of that, I started with an unrealistic timeline and approached it with an inadequate amount of energy and urgency. But that's okay because unlike launching a space shuttle, it's not life or death. And I would imagine that with whatever what your dreams are, it's not life or death. So if you make a mistake, if you incorrectly could calculate anything about getting started and launching your goals and your dreams, you can correct it. You can start over. That's okay. So what I want you to take away from this is that you may not fully be ready to get started. You may feel like you are not prepared enough. You may be afraid of failing or embarrassing yourself or ridicule or naysayers that tell you that it's not realistic, that it's unlikely, that it's improbable. But that's okay because you can always pick yourself back up and get started again. Because in all honesty, it's not how strong you start, but it's how strong you finish. Now, having a strong start definitely gives you an advantage. But if you get it wrong, if you get the launch wrong, it's okay because you can correct it, make up for it, and finish strong with reaching the destination. So don't let the fear of the launch hold you on the ground, hold you in place, and keep you from taking action to accomplish your goals and to manifest your dreams and to have what you want out of life. So get up, stop talking about it, take action and do it. And if you do, you can conquer fear, claim confidence, find your voice, and start living life exactly as you want it. And I will see you on the next episode of The Fearless Factory.